You're watching a Nova Video podcast.
In the summer of 1915, the whaling ship Herman set out from San Francisco, sailing north to Alaska. The crew hunted and harpooned bowhead whales, but they also found time for sightseeing. At Nome, they visited a sled dog railroad. At Port Clarence, an Eskimo summer fishing camp. Then the ship stopped at the tiny village of Gamble, on St. Lawrence, a small island in the northern reaches of the cold Bering Sea. The place was a time capsule. The Yupik people lived as they had for centuries. It was as if a culture was frozen in time, and in time, it would begin to melt. The global climate is changing. The world is warming. The areas nearest the poles are the first places to show the effects. The Bering Sea is getting warm and rising. Sea ice is receding. Permafrost on land is melting. Species are moving, and some are disappearing. There are two groups of people who have a particular interest in these changes: the residents of St. Lawrence Island in the northern Bering Sea, and the scientists who visit the region every year aboard the Coast Guard cutter Healy.
The Healy is really a science machine. This ship can carry up to 45 scientists at a time. And all those people will be working simultaneously to collect as much information as we can during a cruise. We have people studying everything from whales to walruses to eiders.
I'm more of looking at the worms and the clams in the bottom.
I'm interested in how the variability of sea ice, both over space and over time, impacts the spring bloom of algae.
Walruses.
Walrus.
Bowhead whales.
Copepods and krill.
The chemical flow of carbon, nitrogen, other materials.
On this trip, I really need to figure out what lives in the sea ice. You know, it's our first sampling ever doing that kind of work. And so I have some ideas, I have some thoughts and hypotheses, what I might see, but I'm not sure whether that is true or not. So at the end of this 2 weeks, 3-week period, I hope that I can say, okay, that is the kind of biology we see in the sea ice in the Bering Sea.
The Bering Sea ice is matched against steel. All 420 feet of the Healy is covered in steel, 2 inches thick. This newest and largest polar icebreaker in the Coast Guard fleet can cruise at 3 knots through ice 5 feet thick. If the ice is even thicker, the Healy becomes a battering ram, backing up and then crashing ahead through ice fields as thick as 8 feet, repeating the maneuver over and over again. It's a demolition derby in the name of science. The boats that have carried the Yupik people on the Bering Sea are somewhat older models. They're wrapped not with steel, but with walrus hide. Cured and stretched, it becomes the watertight skin that has covered the boats of St. Lawrence Island for centuries.
I prefer these skin boats. They're much more reliable than these aluminum boats. When you're on an aluminum boat, it makes too many noise, especially on the young ice, about 2 inches to 3 inches thick. Scare your game away.
When they put these together, they use sinew from whale sinew.
Muscles.
And they do the pretty much same thing like walrus skin. They stretch that sinew. They put a weight on it, tie one end to the ceiling and put a weight on the bottom. kind of stretching.
The Bering Sea is more than a familiar waterway to the Yupiks. It is their taproot, their common and ancient heritage. But for most Americans, it's a distant and exotic place, a vast oval of water between the Bering Strait and the Aleutians. The Bering Sea touches 2 continents, joins 2 great oceans, spans hemispheres. It's huge, 1.5 times the size of Alaska, and wondrous. The sea is a rich broth of life, home to 26 species of marine mammals, including 12 kinds of whales, and over 450 species of crustaceans and fish. Some 20 million seabirds breed in the Bering Sea. The area has most of the world's polar bears, most of the world's northern fur seals, and the highest concentration of Pacific walrus on Earth. It's a zoo up there. And in this northern zoo, the key element is ice.
There are many words to describe various ice conditions here. Generally, you say siko, ice.
Right now, the ice that we're on is called duvak. That's the term we use for shorefast ice.
And this little piece of ice, the one with the flat passing by ice, is called iluliak. Iluliak, it's a cake of ice.
Gobiak is it's ice that comes in from the North Pole. Sussex is the youngest ice, 2 inches of snow, just forming real thin ice. Them days they used to let the dogs out first, check the ice, see if it's good to walk on. If the dogs don't go in the thin ice, that means ready to go out hunting.
St. Lawrence Island is a vestige of the land bridge that once connected Asia to North America. On a clear day, you can see Siberia from the island's western shore. About 1,500 people live here, most of them of Siberian ancestry. But the island is part of Alaska, and its people are U.S. citizens. Before the 20th century, almost everything they used came from their immediate environment. Their food, clothing, boats, sleds, even their houses.
They were underground houses. We call them nunglos. We use a whalebone to stick them up out like that, put some tundra on top of it, and they're real good. They're warm too. And there's some walrus hide inside and some seal skin and all kinds of hides in there. Seal oil lamp, to heat up the house too.
The natives of Alaska say that the sea is our garden. We live off the ocean. We get the sea mammals, walrus, whales, seals, birds, and most of our activities revolve around harvesting game like that throughout the whole year. Preparation of our skin boats, even in the summer, for next year's use. And it's kind of a cycle that was consistent all the time and very predictable. And that's when things were normal.
What we've been seeing in the last 10 to 15 years is a decline in the ice coming down from the north. Last year we had the highest retreat on satellite records in 2007, and so the question is what's going to happen this year. Right now we have the ice is down far south, but it's very thin. So with this ship it'll be like butter to go through. We don't have any multi-year ice down south of St. Lawrence Island, so we'll move pretty quickly.